Hey, I didn't talk about character archetypes last video. I just told you guys to pick what you like, and that was it. So, I'm Chivi. This guide isn't meant to make you good at fighting games, blah blah blah. I'm bad, I'm just here to get you started. Okay, so let's talk about archetypes and how they each want to fight. First off, let me just say that YouTuber Adventure has already made a great video for fighting game character archetypes, so I recommend you go check that out. I'm just going to talk about the main 4 archetypes you'll encounter out there. These are Grapplers, Rushdown, Shotos, and Zoners. The archetype most plastered all over the place being the Shoto, so let's just start right there. Shoto is short for Shotokan Karate. This is the fighting style of Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter. All games have Shotos though, they aren't exclusive to Street Fighter games. It's just that there's a shit ton of Shotos in Street Fighter. Dude, there's like, Jesus H Christ, there's like 15 of the bastards. These guys basically just have Ryu's moveset built into them. Meaning they have a good fireball. What the fuck was that? They have a good fireball, some anti-air / reversal type move, and something that can go through fireballs or just get them across the screen. The main protagonist of any game is likely to be a Shoto, so that's usually a good way of identifying them. Next up, let's go over Zoners. These are little sissy baby characters that run away all game, and they just piss everyone off. They run away for good reason though. They specialize in dealing damage from a distance and usually don't have very much health. Note that these guys aren't really all that defensive. Their health pool is just too low to play around with. And speaking of low health pools, next up are the Rushdown Rat Bastard characters. These guys just run at you and wreck shop. They have low health, have many ways of getting past your defense, and have super fast but short ranged buttons. Getting in is their specialty, so controlling distance is important when going up against them. Last and probably least are the Grapplers. These guys are just pain incarnate, both when playing against them or playing as them. They have a lot of damage with their big throw moves, but Jesus Christ, man, it's so hard to actually use these things, man. You got a ton of HP, and that's because you're gonna fucking need it. You're gonna have to dodge your way into your opponent's face, at which point you're in control. But Jesus Christ, man, is it a pain. So yeah, those are the main archetypes. Yeah, I got a transition, dude. I'm just a fucking mess this video. Let's talk about which fighting game is right for you. There's a ton of fighting games out there, and they all have a bunch of different mechanics and rules and shit. I don't want to run down all the differences, so fuck it. I'll just throw these into archetypes too. Let's just go ahead and call them standard fighting games, tag fighting games, air dashers, 3D fighters, and platform fighters. Standard. That sure is a fighting game. These don't have some crazy bullshit going on, but the devil's in the details. The many different characters and meters and shit that's in the game is what makes it special. Street Fighter, Samurai Showdown, Mortal Kombat, Injustice, Fighting EX Layer, and the King of Fighters are all examples of the standard fighter. This is not to say that these games are boring though. They all have their own shtick, whether it be King of Fighters mobility, Street Fighter's many reinventions of the fighting game genre, or whatever. I'd personally recommend King of Fighters 98, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and if you want a good and simple game for beginners, then check out Street Fighter Alpha 2. Next, let's go over tag fighters. These are just insane, dude. They let you pick several characters, usually 3, and lets you fight with all of them. You will have one main fighter at any given time. This will be called your point character, but you can switch them out for the other dudes that you picked. You can also call other characters into the fight to throw out an attack. This is called calling an assist. Some examples of tag fighters include Skullgirls, Dragon Ball Fighters or Fighter Z, whatever, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Marvel vs. Capcom games, and Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Out of these, I highly recommend Skullgirls. It's a good game and it has rollback netcode, which means it's fucking amazing. Power Rangers also has rollback, but I haven't played it so I can't really talk about it much. Air Dashers. These games, much like Tag Fighters, are batshit crazy. Air Dashers get their name from the mechanic of the same name, air dashing. Some people might also call these anime fighters. These games let you double jump, dash in the air, usually have some kind of get out of jail free card called a burst, and just have crazy characters in general. These games are more offense oriented compared to standard fighting games and are usually faster paced as a result. A few of these games are Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, Under Night In Birth, Skullgirls, sometimes kind of depends on the character, BB Tag, and shit like that. My recommendation for air dash games would be Guilty Gear, just cause there's a new game coming out called Guilty Gear Strive. And we're gonna get weird now and talk about 3D fighters. These, I guess, are like standard fighting games, but they're just in 3D. That changes a lot though, as you can't just block or backdash to get out of trouble, but can also sidestep towards or away from the screen to dodge shit. There aren't too many 3D fighters, especially not these days, but Tekken, Soul Calibur, Virtua Fighter, and Dead or Alive are some examples. Tekken being the big one and my personal recommendation, though it does have a notably large learning curve, but doesn't stop it from being a great game still. Platform fighters are even more weird than 3D fighters. Platform fighters are more sumo wrestling inspired, requiring ring outs for KO instead of actually knocking someone out. Some of these games are Super Smash Bros, Brawlhalla, and Rivals of Aether. I don't know too much about these games, man. I don't play them all that much. I just pick Terry and Smash Ultimate and just jab power dunk my way through life, dude. I would just stick to Smash Bros, but Rivals of Aether seems fun too. So yeah, those are all the different kinds of fighting games and a bunch of the different kind of character archetypes you'll find. There are more fighting games in fighting game series that I didn't mention here, but these are smaller games that are hard to find matches for or are just hard to get working on your computer. PlayStation 3 or PlayStation Vita. The ones I've recommended in this video are some of the bigger, more popular, or just classic games that have good sized player bases. So hopefully this will help some of you guys decide what game to play, what character to play, or whatever. Special thanks to Jarvis Hamster T for the Street Fighter Alpha sprites, Unreal Hate for the Violent Ken sprites, and Deekman for the Cody sprites. And also, check out Maximilian Dude's video, Fighting Games Are Food. It gives a good sense for what specific games are like, because mine just gives a broad overview. And yeah, that's all I got. Leave a like and subscribe if you found this helpful. I'm sorry we didn't get to talk about combos. They were just more immediate things I felt I had to cover. In the next video, we'll talk about combos and damage and shit. Alright, hope that helped. Now go play some fighting games.